There was a time when waking up hurt, when opening my eyes felt like a silent battle.
I smiled on the outside, but inside, I was dying. A forced performance.
I walked the streets like a ghost. Lost my connection to the real world.
I smiled at work, then hid in the bathroom to cry. It wasn't drama.
I tried to pray, but I felt like God wasn't listening. So far away.
Until one day, I stopped feeling. There was no more color in anything.
If you still love me, show me. Just show me you're there.
I didn't see an angel, but I felt peace. Someone sat beside me.
Do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen and help you.
That night, I cried. But it was a different kind of crying. Tears of relief.
A small flame, weak but alive. A quiet hope pushing me forward.
Little by little, the day started to brighten.
Jesus didn't heal me instantly. He carried me until I could walk.
What was meant to destroy me led me to my Savior.
I remember a time when waking up hurt. Every ray of sunlight that filtered through the curtains felt like a spear, piercing the fragile armor I wore. Opening my eyes in the morning was like fighting a silent battle, invisible to the world, but brutal for my soul. I smiled on the outside, a rehearsed, forced smile that fell apart as soon as I turned my back. But inside, I was in pieces, dying a bit with each breath. I walked the streets like a ghost, a shadow without its own outline. People passed by, their hurried footsteps and voices mingling into an indistinct murmur. Some greeted me, asked how I was, but it was as if I were in another dimension, separated by an invisible barrier. I had lost my connection to the real world. The sound of life around me, children's laughter, birds singing, the noise of cars, everything reached me muffled, distant, as if I lived inside a bubble of silence and pain. Isolated from everything and everyone. It was a self-imposed exile, a prison built with the bricks of my own despair. This is my story. Not a fable told to lull you to sleep. Not a memorized, repeated sermon. It's the real, raw testimony of someone who hit rock bottom. Someone who experienced the deepest darkness, where light seemed a distant memory. But it's also the story of how, in that abyss, I found an outstretched hand, a firm, strong, and loving hand. The hand of Jesus. It all started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Small sorrows I underestimated, pushing them under the rug of my mind, believing they were just fleeting moments. A fatigue that wouldn't go away, no matter how much I slept, no matter how hard I tried to rest. A constant tightness in my chest, as if an invisible weight was crushing my heart, growing and intensifying day by day. It was like a fog that slowly enveloped me, stealing my colors, my vibrancy, until one day the fog became a thick shroud. I simply stopped feeling. I thought it was a defense mechanism, a way to avoid more pain. But it wasn't. I stopped dreaming, planning for the future, having hope. I stopped believing anything good could still happen. And the most frightening thing, there was no more color in anything at all. The days were gray, monochromatic, even when the sun shone brightly outside. People's laughter, which once infected me, now sounded distant, empty. It was as if the joy of others was a cruel mirror, only reminding me of my own unbearable existential emptiness. People would say with the best intentions, it will pass. But no one saw the deep hole I was hiding in. No one noticed the internal battle I fought every moment. I smiled at work, greeted colleagues, feigned interest in mundane conversations. But the moment I could isolate myself, I'd run to the bathroom, lock the door, and collapse in silent tears. It wasn't drama. It wasn't being overly dramatic. It was pure, raw, overwhelming pain. It was depression. I dragged myself through the weeks, the months, in an exhausting attempt to appear normal. I drank coffee after coffee, trying to shake off the stupor that consumed me. I answered messages with animated emojis, went to meetings, attended social events, but it was all a heavy mask. It's an exhausting performance. It's a way to survive, not to be noticed in my fragility. Inside, I was imploding. Each day was a small death. A part of me disintegrating, pulverizing into the void. I felt like a dry well, without water, without life. Just the echo of an existence that was fading away. I got to the point of thinking, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, maybe everything would be better. That thought, that intrusive thought, scared me deeply. Because deep down, I didn't want to die. I just couldn't keep living like that anymore. The exhaustion was more than physical. It was a spiritual, existential exhaustion. I kept asking myself incessantly, what's the purpose? What's the meaning of all this? Why keep going if pain was the only constant? I tried to pray, to say the prayers I learned in childhood, to repeat words that once brought comfort. But it felt like God wasn't listening. The words echoed in the emptiness of my room without a response. I opened the Bible, flipping through pages, searching for a word of comfort. But the scriptures seemed empty, meaningless, just dead letters on paper. Where was God when I needed him most? Why did he seem so distant, so silent in the face of my cry? I started blaming myself, thinking maybe I was so insignificant, so invisible that not even heaven noticed me. Guilt compounded the pain, creating a vicious cycle of hopelessness. I was sinking, and I saw no hand to pull me out. There was a moment a Sunday afternoon that dragged on like so many others. I sat on my bedroom floor, leaning against the cold wall, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. And there, with a voice choked by tears that had long since made no sound, I said, almost in a whisper, "If you still love me, ... If you're still there, ... Please, show me." And in the fraction of a second that followed that desperate prayer, something changed. I didn't hear an audible voice. I didn't see an angel materialize before me, but I felt a deep peace. A gentle, yet unmistakable presence. It was as if someone had sat down beside me, right there, on the cold floor of my room, and cried with me, without words, without judgment. Just the certainty of a companionship that wouldn't abandon me. For the first time in a very, very long time, I felt I wasn't alone, that someone was with me in the pain, sharing the burden I carried. It wasn't an illusion. It was a reality that invaded my being. That same night, with my heart still impacted by that presence, I opened my Bible randomly, without looking for a specific verse. And it opened to Isaiah 41:10. "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." It was as if those words had been written just for me at that exact moment. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by a God who knows every tear that falls, every sigh of pain, every fear that haunts us. A God who saw me, who heard me. Even when I felt invisible that night, I cried again. But it was a different kind of crying. They were tears of relief, of an encounter, of surrender. I didn't know how to climb out of that hole, but I knew someone greater than me, with infinite love, could pull me out. And that's how the healing process began. It wasn't instant, it wasn't magical like in a fairy tale. It was one step at a time, a journey, not an immediate destination. I started praying every day, even without strength. Even when my voice was choked and words wouldn't come out, I just tried. I started giving thanks, even amidst the pain, for small details, for glimpses of light. I started declaring that Jesus was with me, even when fear screamed and tried to paralyze me. And slowly, something began to grow inside me. A small flame, fragile at first, but alive. A quiet yet persistent hope that pushed me forward, compelled me to continue. Little by little, the days started to brighten. The gray fog slowly dissipated, giving way to softer tones. I still cried, yes, but now my tears held a touch of hope, a promise of a better future. I still felt fear, but it didn't paralyze me anymore. I began to see life through new eyes, with a renewed perspective. I started to notice the beauty in the small things, those that once went unnoticed. A sunset painting the sky orange and purple. A song playing on the radio that brought back a good memory. A sincere hug from a friend or family member. I started to feel again, to vibrate, to live. Jesus didn't heal me in an instant with a magic touch. He carried me in his arms, sustained me, supported me, until I could walk on my own 2 feet again. Each day was a step of faith, every prayer a remedy for the wounded soul, every Bible verse a breath of life, a new reason to continue. And so, day after day, I began to be reborn. I started dreaming again, planning, envisioning a future. I started laughing again, heartily. I started loving again, feeling compassion and gratitude. I started living again, truly, fully. Not because depression vanished overnight, but because Jesus taught me how to fight with him by my side every single moment. He gave me the tools and the strength to face the battle. Today, when I look back at that time of darkness, I see something that was once invisible to me. What was meant to destroy me was, in fact, what led me to my Savior. The pain, however overwhelming, pushed me into the arms of the only one who could truly save me, who could give me a new life, a purpose. And with each new dawn, I choose to keep going. I choose to live. I choose to trust. I choose faith. If you are going through something similar, if your mornings are silent battles, please listen carefully to what I have to say. You are not alone. This pain that consumes you, this emptiness, this feeling that no one understands you, Jesus knows. Each of these feelings, he still heals, still transforms lives, still hears the whispered prayers through the deepest tears. He still enters dark rooms, the solitude of our souls. He still sits beside us and cries with us, sharing every burden. He did it for me, and he can and wants to do it for you. Don't give up now. Don't stop halfway. Your miracle might be closer than you think. Perhaps all you need to do today is simply say, with the strength you still have, with the faith that still beats in your heart, Jesus, I need you. He will hear, he will come, and he will stay. He will never abandon you. If this story touched your heart, if you resonated with this journey, I invite you, subscribe to the Glorify Forever channel. Here you will find more inspiring testimonies, words that uplift the soul and hope for every new day. And please, share this video with someone you love. Someone might be waiting for this message, for this light, for this outstretched hand. Together, we can bring hope to those who need it most.